The internet moves fast. One day, you're the villain everyone's dragging online, and the next, you're the ghost people whisper about in comments, wondering where you disappeared to. For years, Arionne Curry stayed quiet, living in the shadow of one of the most controversial love triangles in reality TV history. But now, at 45, she's done staying silent. After Martell Holt went public with his new relationship, something inside her snapped. And what came next was a storm of raw emotion, regret, and rage that nobody saw coming. Social media had barely caught its breath from Martell's latest appearance with his new woman, a beautiful, soft-spoken entrepreneur who seemed like the polar opposite of the chaos he left behind. Photos surfaced of them smiling at a luxury event, hand in hand, looking like a couple out of a magazine. And just like that, Arionne's name was back on everyone's lips. The woman once known as the other woman was suddenly the ex everyone pitted. But Arionne wasn't ready to play the victim again. Not this time. She went live on Instagram late one night, her voice trembling between anger and heartbreak. "Y'all really think I'm pressed?" she asked, her tone sharp but tired. "After everything that man put me through? Please." But behind her words was pain she couldn't mask. Her eyes told the truth her pride wouldn't let her say. Watching Martell flaunt someone new reopened a wound she thought had healed. Because no matter how many times she told herself she was done, a part of her had been waiting, hoping that he'd eventually come back, not just to her, but to the life they once shared in secret. Arionne Curry's story has always been tangled in betrayal, judgment, and love that never stood a chance. She met Martell Holt years ago, before the fame, before the cameras, before the world turned their relationship into a headline. He was charming, ambitious, and had that smooth, southern confidence that drew her in instantly. To her, he wasn't a reality star or a married man. He was someone who made her feel seen at a time she didn't realize she was invisible. But love built on lies never stands. When the affair came to light, Arionne became the easy target. She was dragged online, humiliated on television, and turned into a villain in a story she didn't write. Every episode of Love and Marriage, Huntsville painted her as the homewrecker, while Martell played the man trying to do better, and Melody, the wife, became the broken yet triumphant queen who rose from the ashes. Arionne had no platform to defend herself, no publicist to clean up her image. She had her phone, her emotions, and her truth, and sometimes, that was more dangerous than anything else. Through it all, Martell never fully let her go. Even after his marriage ended, even after promising to change, he kept Arionne in his orbit. Late-night calls. Quiet visits. Empty promises. The kind of emotional manipulation that keeps a person tied to hope long after they should have walked away. And every time Arionne tried to move on, he'd pull her back with words like, "You know, you're the only one who understands me," or "I just need time to figure things out." So when he suddenly went public with another woman, smiling, laughing, acting like he'd finally found peace, Arionne saw red. The man who once told her she was special was now calling someone else his piece. And that stung deeper than she wanted to admit. Her live video quickly went viral. "He always said he wanted a woman who'd stand by him no matter what," she snapped. "Well, I stood by him when everybody else turned their backs. Where's the loyalty now?" Her words were messy, raw, and real. She wasn't reading from a script or trying to sound composed. She was a woman scorned, speaking from a place of years of pent-up pain. "They called me every name in the book," she continued. And he sat back and let it happen. "I lost friends, I lost peace, I lost myself defending a man who never defended me." Within hours, blogs picked up the story. Screenshots of her live were everywhere. Fans flooded the comments, some mocking, others empathizing. "Here we go again," one user wrote. "Arionne's still bitter after all these years." But others saw through the anger and recognized the heartbreak. "She's hurt," one woman commented. "You can tell she's still trying to heal from a man who used her when it was convenient." Meanwhile, Martell was silent. No denial. No defense. Just silence. And that silence said everything. The irony was almost poetic. Years ago, Martell had been exposed for cheating, and the internet watched his marriage crumble. Now, he was parading another woman, acting like the past never happened. But Arionne hadn't forgotten the nights she cried alone, the humiliation of being publicly shamed, or the way he'd whispered promises he never intended to keep. What nobody expected was how Melody reacted. Instead of joining the conversation or shading Arionne like before, Melody stayed quiet. She posted a single message on her story that read, "Peace is knowing when to stop fighting battles that don't belong to you anymore." It was subtle, graceful, and hit harder than any clapback could. Fans instantly decoded it as shade toward both Martell and Arionne. Melody had moved on, and her silence made the noise around Arionne feel even louder. Still, Arionne wasn't done talking. Days later, she returned with another live, softer this time but just as emotional. "I don't hate him," she said quietly. "I hate what he made me become. I hate that I believed him when he said I was different." Her voice cracked. "He used my loyalty against me. He made me think love meant waiting while he figured out his life. But he wasn't figuring it out, he was just moving on." It was one of those rare moments when the internet stopped judging and started listening. Because behind all the drama, filters, and headlines was a woman who gave her heart to the wrong person and paid the price in public. Martell's new woman didn't say much, but her silence added fuel to the fire. Fans began comparing her to Arionne, pointing out how Martell seemed to repeat the same cycle, love-bombing new women while leaving unresolved chaos behind. Some accused him of using relationships to clean up his image, while others warned the new woman to run before it's too late. As the drama unfolded, Arionne found herself torn between anger and heartbreak. She tried to act unbothered, but her posts told a different story. One day, she'd post quotes about healing and self-worth. The next, she'd share cryptic captions like, "Some lessons cost your heart." Every word felt like a piece of her trying to regain control after years of being silenced by a man who always got the last word. But here's the twist: what nobody expected was how this heartbreak would actually shift public perception. For the first time in years, people began seeing Arionne not as the villain, but as a woman trapped in a toxic cycle she couldn't escape. She became a mirror for so many women who had loved men that only loved them when it was convenient. One fan wrote, "It's sad because she's not evil. She just fell for a man who promised her forever while he was still building a new life somewhere else." That comment went viral because it captured what many had been thinking all along: Arionne wasn't innocent, but she was human. As for Martell, his silence started cracking. He went on a podcast interview, casually mentioning that some people can't move on because they never had closure. It was a thinly veiled jab at Arionne. When the clip surfaced online, it reignited the feud. Arionne clapped back immediately. "Closure?" she wrote in a fiery post. "You can't give closure when you never gave truth." The internet exploded again. Hashtags like Arionne Speaks and Martell Exposed started trending. Old clips from Love and Marriage, Huntsville resurfaced, fans dissecting every look, every line, every hint of tension that led to this moment. It wasn't just about love anymore, it was about power, control, and image. And through it all, Melody kept her composure. She continued posting about her brand, her kids, and her peace. Fans praised her restraint, saying she'd won by walking away. But Arionne's breakdown reminded everyone that sometimes walking away isn't as easy when your heart is still holding on to what could have been. The emotional toll became impossible to hide. Friends close to Arionne revealed that she'd been struggling quietly, trying to rebuild her life outside of Martell's shadow. She was tired of being a storyline, tired of being the punchline, tired of being the mistake he never stopped reminding her of. In one emotional post, she wrote, "You can't heal in the same place that broke you. But when the world knows your pain, where do you go to hide?" It was one of the most honest things she'd ever shared, and it hit a nerve with people who had judged her for years. Arionne's pain wasn't just about losing Martell. It was about losing herself in a man who promised her the world and gave her chaos instead. Watching him move on forced her to confront that painful truth that while he was building new beginnings, she was still living in the ruins of their past. But there's another layer to this story that made fans question everything. Whispers began circulating that Martell's new relationship wasn't as perfect as it seemed. rumors claimed that the woman had started noticing the same red flags Arionne once ignored: broken promises, late nights, and emotional manipulation masked as charm. The internet began speculating that Martell might just be repeating history with a different face. And as that narrative took hold, something changed in Arionne. She started posting less about pain and more about peace. She began showing glimpses of a quieter lifetime with her kids, business ventures, moments of calm. It was as if she'd finally accepted that she'd never get closure from Martell, so she'd give it to herself. Still, the scars remained. The public humiliation, the judgment, the endless comparisons, they left marks that no apology could erase. Yet, in a strange way, this public heartbreak became her liberation. By breaking her silence, Arionne finally took back her story from everyone who'd twisted it for views and headlines. Martell, on the other hand, continued to move as if nothing happened. But his image had taken another hit. Fans called him out for his pattern using women, then moving on when things got uncomfortable. Even Melody's supporters began questioning whether he ever truly grew from his past mistakes or just learned to hide them better. By the end of the storm, all three lives, Martell, Melody, and Arionne, were once again entangled in a web of heartbreak and perception. But this time, something felt different. The internet didn't see Arionne as just the mistress anymore. They saw her as a woman who lost years trying to love someone who never loved her the way she deserved. It's easy to call her bitter, but bitterness doesn't come from hate, it comes from hurt. And Arionne's pain was the kind that doesn't just fade away. It lingers, it reshapes you, it forces you to face the parts of yourself you ignored for too long. In the end, her silence broke not because she wanted attention, but because she wanted truth. Truth about how love can blind you. Truth about how manipulation can wear the face of affection. And truth about how healing doesn't start when the world forgives you, it starts when you forgive yourself. As the dust settles, one thing remains clear: in the messy world of reality TV and real-life heartbreak, nobody walks away unscarred. Arionne's story isn't just about Martell's betrayal or Melody's triumph, it's about the quiet war between love and self-worth that so many people fight behind closed doors. And maybe, just maybe, her breakdown at 45 wasn't a sign of weakness. Maybe it was her breaking free. Because sometimes, silence isn't peace, it's pain. And when that silence finally breaks, the truth can be louder than any rumor ever could.